Are you looking to leverage the latest and best ideas to grow your advisory business from the best minds in the industry? Join us every Wednesday at noon Pacific for our speaker series, featuring dynamic guests sharing real strategies for real results. Brought to you by The Best Notary, where we help estate planning attorneys grow their business with less stress and more success.
So here we are, the official start. So Eli, would you mind introducing Sarah?
Would be honored to. Sarah Ellen is not just a professional that I respect. She is a friend. We met through Provisors, which is a networking group for attorneys, bankers, and CPAs that has over 9,000 members across the country. Sarah Ellen's career has spanned both large and small companies, including leading $500 million businesses such as Old Navy, Banana Republic, and eBay. It was experience at eBay that truly pivoted her career path towards helping other entrepreneurs, leveraging her corporate marketing skills. Sarah now helps small businesses with video marketing. She has generated over $1 million for her clients by acquiring new customers through video. Sarah's five-step framework on saving time and increasing sales with video is particularly effective for estate planning firms because estate planners always find themselves repeating the same explanations to clients. Today, we're going to learn this framework, and this is the same framework I have to share with everyone that helped one of Sarah's clients, Ellen Cookman, essentially triple her business over the last, I believe, 4 or 5 years. By leveraging YouTube, she's able to go from literally, zero to now 10,000 subscribers. And I remember being at her 100 subscribers. So that is exponential to see that growth in just the last couple of years. So very excited to see how Sarah, achieved that for Ellen Cookman and how all of us can learn from that expertise.
Awesome. Yeah. Well,
Sarah,
thank
take it
you
away.
so much for the warm welcome, Eli. I'm excited to be here. So this is the topic for today. Duplicate yourself with video, save time, and increase your sales. So I'm excited to get started. Okay. So saving time and increasing your sales with video. How can this actually tangibly show up in your business? Okay. So what if I were to tell you that your first meeting with a client can actually start to feel like the second, right? Even before you're meeting a client, a prospective client, they can watch a video from you, and that video that you created just one time can start to build trust and rapport with that particular client, right? And so that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today, really starting to build rapport through video. And you might be saying, okay, before we even start with video, you might be saying, wait, can't AI do this, Sarah? What if we're talking about duplicating ourselves, saving time, isn't AI really what's going to help me save time today? I've heard this software can do this, it can do a voiceover and AI softwares can do this and that. And in a world that everyone is focused on AI, I'm here to tell you that the right set of videos created by subject matter estate planning experts like yourself, in my opinion, can actually have more of an impact on your business today than AI. In fact, there was a study done in 2024, super recent study. It's basically just what does traffic look like if a human generated the content or if AI generated the content, right? And so you can see here, humans are on the right-hand side and AI is on the left-hand side. So here's the main takeaway for that is that the traffic for the AI generated content actually fluctuated, right, from month to month, while the human content steadily increased over the 5-month period. And in fact, by month 5, the human generated content saw 5.4 times more traffic than the AI generated content on a monthly basis, right? And so I know that AI is a controversial topic right now because it's all the rage. But throughout this presentation, I think you're really going to start to see how powerful video is. And in my opinion, what stops people from video and what might be stopping you today is you might be feeling like, oh my gosh, you might be feeling overwhelmed because you feel like my videos need to get lots of views and I need to have a ton of subscribers to really be successful, right? When it comes to video, there's so much messaging out there right now that's telling you, in order for you to be successful, you have to have a massive following, a huge subscriber base, that bigger is better, more, right? And I'm curious, like, does anyone feel that way? Please drop a 1 in the chat. I would love some interaction. Does anyone feel like, oh my gosh, I need to have a massive following for my videos to work on YouTube? Okay. 1, yes. Thank you. Yes. And if you feel that way, yes, Jennifer, totally. If you feel that way, I've got some really good news for you today. Is your videos do not need to get thousands, tens of thousands of views to actually accomplish the goals that you have for in your business. And why is that? It's because success in video for business owners is not about getting a lot of views, right? It's just about getting the right ones. And this is super key, because hear me when I say lots of views on your videos do not equal lots of money in your business, right? And you might be saying, Sarah, like, what are you saying? I see all these people with massive followings, and they've got these massive YouTube channels and Instagram, and you just assume that they have a massive business to back up their massive social media following. And in some cases that's true. However, in most it isn't, because metrics like views, subscribers are vanity metrics, right? And so those vanity metrics you get a dopamine hit when you get a subscriber, right? It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like, okay, I've got this broader reach, this broader impact. However, here's the disconnect. Those vanity metrics do not typically follow your business metrics. Okay, so Sarah, what am I saying? Just because you're getting a lot of views on your videos does not mean that you're closing more deals, right? Does not necessarily mean that the revenue is going up in your business, that you have more space as a business owner to take on necessary projects that you need to grow your business. Oh, Leah, yes.
What is a vanity metric, if you don't mind?
Yeah. So a vanity metric is basically something like, I would classify that as a view on a video or a subscriber. Yeah. Great question. Yeah. And then we can dive deeper into some other metrics that I like to look at more so than views and subscribers. But in my experience in doing video, most people conflate the two, assuming that these massive followings are going to translate into a lot of money in the business, and that rarely materializes. And so in today's presentation, we're actually going to talk about how to get the right views for your videos. So the first part of the presentation, we're going to briefly go over why video. There's so many things for you to focus on as a small business owner and in your marketing. So why should you focus on video? And I'm really going to share this through the lens of an estate planning attorney. Eli alluded to her. Her name is Ellen Cookman. She's an estate planning attorney here in the Palo Alto area. I've been working with her for several years, and you can really start to understand how video has totally transformed her practice. I'm also going to go through and teach you my proven framework that has generated $1 million in closed business for my clients. And this is a framework that was born from has taken me years to develop, tens of thousands of dollars to develop through education and editing. And then at the end, we're going to have some Q&A. And please feel free, if you have questions, just like Leah did, drop them in the chat or raise your hand. And yeah, actually, please drop them in the chat. That'll be easier for me to see. And then at the end, I created an exclusive offer for those that are just on this webinar. If you're interested in hearing more about how to really take video to the next level in your business. Okay. So please drop a 1 if that sounds good and you are excited about hearing about this framework today. Okay. Yeah. And then Leah also said you can message her about questions. Okay. Sounds good. So before we jump into the juice of this presentation, I just want to tell you, I've got some really great news for you. You have an advantage when it comes to creating video content that drives results. You have a massive advantage. And why is that? Simply put, your experience and your age gives you an incredible advantage when it comes to creating video content. I would love for you in the chat right now to please drop in how long you've been in business. I'm really curious who is on this call. How long, please drop in the chat, how long you've been in business. 15 years in the game. Eli has been in the game for 15 years. Wow, that is a really long time. Is this a trick question? No. I just want to understand. So it's funny. Yeah. The 15 years, like that just gives you an advantage, right? Because when Eli is talking about remote notarization, it's not theoretical, right? Because he's done it hundreds and thousands of times, right? Rick, 7 years, 20. Yeah. I mean, 15 years. You have an advantage, right? It's not when you talk about what you do, it isn't theory, right? Versus some of the 20 somethings on TikTok. And listen, I love the 20 somethings so much. I love them. This is not a slight against them at all because we were all 20 somethings at some point, right? But let's just be clear for a second that you just have more experience and your expertise really puts you in a different league than most people creating content. And this level of experience is just, that's the good news. For example, we're going to hear more about my client, Ellen Cookman, today. But Ellen Cookman, she started her YouTube channel in her mid-40s. And in my opinion, that's actually been one of the keys to her massive success on YouTube. Why? Because when she talks, I mean, I was just at a presentation that she gave last night. Listen, when she talks, she knows what she's talking about, right? And it just shows because she's been doing it for a few decades, right? Also, the other benefit that I find in working with experienced business owners like yourself is that you have a specific person that you want to help, right? And so you're really able to directly talk to their particular needs, right? And so again, like Ellen's age has really built credibility among her ideal clients, right? And this framework that I'm about to share is really for experienced business owners because because while you've seen a ton of success in your business, you might be feeling in business that you're like on the hamster wheel a little bit, right? Like you gotta keep going, you gotta keep growing, you gotta like show up at this webinar and hear this lady yell at you about video. You feel like you got to do all the things, right? And you're feeling like there's just not enough time in the day. And in this season, you just want to work smarter and not harder, right? Take that vacation, not be glued to your email. And I'm here to tell you that videos can help you get off of that hamster wheel and really start to save you time in your business today. And I know this because if I'm being completely honest, this framework was born from frustrated clients, right? Like this is just real. I wish I could say this came from a position but like it started with my client, Ellen, coming to me because she was frustrated with her current marketing plan, right? That it wasn't driving the results. This was 4 years ago. And she was frustrated because she felt like, hey, I'm the best kept secret in the special needs estate planning community, right? If people just knew about the value of my services, like there wouldn't be any competition, right? Does anyone please drop a yes, drop a 1? Does anybody feel that way? Like, hey, I am like the best kept secret in town. Does anybody feel that way? Please let me know. She was basically putting in the work, but not seeing the results. That can be frustrating, right? So we're going to briefly hear directly from Ellen, her talk about that frustration.
I think we're having some audio issues
We're not
here.
getting sound, Sarah. You gotta
Oh, we're
hit
not
that,
getting sound.
hit that share sound button, I think.
Okay. So sorry, everyone.
All good.
Okay. Let me see here.
I think we did pretty good making it 18 minutes into the
Before
hour.
I started working with Sarah, my marketing plan was kind of all over the place. I did some social media posts, but I didn't really know what to focus on. I heard that there were some keyword terms that I need to look at, but was kind of unclear with that. I started working with somebody who helped me with my website, but I felt like I wanted to take it to the next step. The other challenge that I have is because I'm in a particular niche, I have to share the same thing over and over again with my clients. I got kind of tired of saying this, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice if I could make a video and just say, hey, you want to learn more about ABLE accounts? watch that video, and it would save my vocal cords like 15 minutes of talking.
Yeah. So marketing plan that is all over the place. I don't know if anybody can relate with that. I just appreciate her honesty here, right? We can just feel like we're all over the place, right? And that can be frustrating. So a few things she touched on. She said, hey, I have a website, but I really want to take it to the next level. I'm doing posts on social media, but there's not really a clear strategy. We're also doing some cold email to get potential clients through the funnel. SEO, I've heard something about keywords. Maybe that's going to be important, right? Something that she didn't talk about, another frustration, is that her business was really reliant on referrals, and specifically her going to networking events. And at the time, the business had grown to about 12 people. And she feels like, hey, I can't go to one event to bring in one client to bring in one client. She wanted a more evergreen system, right? As well as she talked about spending that time that she does have repeating similar information to clients, right? And I'm sure, I'm like really curious, can anyone relate with some of these frustrations? I know I can relate with them. Please drop a one. Yes, Eli can relate. Okay, so what do we do about it with all of these things in mind, right? With all these needs in mind, we decided to go all in on creating videos for YouTube, right? And here was the thought behind it. Because with YouTube, we can create hyper targeted content for her ideal customers. And the thought was, okay, if we're answering questions that her ideal clients have, ostensibly, that would attract more of her ideal clients, right? Because they probably have the same questions, right? And also, YouTube is just a great place to memorialize all of this information, right? It's a phenomenal repository that you can provide and resource for your clients. And our strategy was super simple. We actually started to shoot videos based on questions that her ideal clients had and what people were typing into Google. So simple questions like, Ellen, how do you set up an estate plan here in California? That was our first video, how to set up an estate plan here in California, like really, really basic videos. And so we kept at it. Within 1 year, this is what happened.
This is what ended up happening. All right, so I've been doing this since January of last year, and now 20% approximately of my clients are coming in through YouTube. It started really working about 6 months ago. So it took about a year for everything to get off the ground. And the other really cool thing is it's actually expanded my business into Southern California. Most of my YouTube clients have found me, they're in Southern California. And so it's really nice. I send a lot of videos, not only potential clients, but after I have an initial meeting, I'll send a follow-up email with different videos talking about the subjects that we discussed during the meeting. So clients don't have to take their own notes. They can actually watch this. I'm also becoming a leader in my space. Sometimes people introduce me as, here's the YouTube influencer, or here's the, the special needs expert. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. And I've also heard through the grapevine that, different financial advisors and other professionals have forwarded my links to my videos to their clients. And so word is really spreading. So it's been pretty exciting and more than I actually expected.
Yeah. So more than she expected. And you might be saying, okay, Sarah, that's great. That's great for Ellen. Ellen's a superstar. I get it. But what about me, right? Is that going to be possible for my business? And so today we're really going to go through that framework that I ran with Ellen's business. So the first point here, and the most important part of this training, like if you take away nothing, this is the juice. This is the one thing that you need to take away, is you have to pinpoint your ideal customer, right? If you are talking to everyone in 2025, you're talking to no one, right? There's so much noise out there online. And the challenge that a lot of experienced business owners can get, or can have, I should say, with YouTube, is that you've served lots of different clients over your tenure in business. And so this is really about not serving all of the clients that you've worked with. It's really about picking that one client that you want to copy and paste, right? What's that one client that you're like, oh my gosh, if I could just attract more of that client, that would be ideal. And again, the fear that a lot of business owners have is if I niche down, then that's going to really hurt my business. And so in Ellen's case, a lot of her content is about special needs estate planning. However, a significant portion of her law firm is actually traditional estate planning. And so her ability to focus has actually been another ingredient that has really helped propel her channel and her practice forward. So some tangible things for you to think about. Think about it, an ideal client that you've worked with or are currently working with. And if you could copy and paste 10 of these exact same clients, like who would they be? Please write that down, right? Or even you can even drop them in their chat. What does their life look like? Do they have kids? No kids? What are the responsibilities do they have? What matters to this person? This is a big one. What keeps that person up at night? What stresses them out? Every piece of content on your channel, in my opinion, should really be relevant and serving that particular person, right? And and why is that? It's so simple. It's because that client, that your ideal client is going to see that content and they'll think, wow, she really gets what I'm going through. He or she really understands that complexity, and therefore they're the right professional to get me out of whatever pain I'm in into my desired outcome, right? And another brief story here about just pinpointing your ideal client. I promise the fridge relates to what we're talking about. Okay. So has anyone had a appliance go out in their house? Please drop a one. Okay. I'm seeing some head nods. Okay. So I had an appliance issue about 3 months ago and my refrigerator light went out. You know, I couldn't see anything in the fridge. I would reach in, all the things would fall out. I was wasting food. It was just a disaster. So called a repairman to fix the light in the fridge. And so this repairman shows up. His name's Gary, super nice guy. Gary came in and he assessed the situation with my fridge. And this is how he decided to solve my problem, right? He proceeded to have a deep technical conversation with me about all the things that could be going on with the fridge, right? The LED panels, the switchboards, it could be this special plug. And hear me, like my eyes were glazed over in about 30 seconds after talking to him. Mind you, we also had a play date. There were 4 kids under the age of 5 running around. And so why do I tell you this story, right? The problem with that interaction was Gary wasn't thinking about me as his ideal customer, right? He wasn't thinking, how can I simplify this, right, for her? However, my husband's a technical hardware engineer and he would have loved that dialogue all day long, right? But the problem is that he was not thinking about me as an ideal customer, right? And so that his approach actually hurt credibility with me, but it would have gained credibility with someone else that had more technical skills, right? And so the point here is that pinpointing who you're talking to is really important, right? Because ultimately you're going to be able to serve them at a higher level and you're going to be able to solve their problem in the way they want it to be solved, which is really, really important, right? Okay, number 2, what you want to answer your ideal client's questions, right? And as an exercise, this is what I tell my clients. You can either do this on a notepad or a Google Doc or a note, like however you capture. But just if a client or if more than one client asks you the same question in a given week or in a given 2-week span, write that question down. Write that question down in the same exact way that they asked it. And this is really how you can start to come up with a repository and a great video topic list of ideas, right? This is how you can start to really build up a library of FAQ-like videos. And I'm curious, like, please drop in the chat, what are the questions that you get all the time in your business? Yes, Eli. Eli is a Fathom evangelist. He uses Fathom for this, right? Like that's a really cool way to supercharge and get notes. Please, I'm curious, like what are the questions that you're getting from your clients? One of the questions you could be getting is, how do you work with people, right? How do you work with clients? And as these questions come up, you can say, what a great question. I'm glad you asked. And I actually have a video walking you through how I work with clients, right? It's really, really simple. Leah, yes, do you have a question?
No, I was just gesturing in enthusiastic agreement. Yeah, like
Awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
and I think also too, there's so much that comes through on video that's not going to come through on an email.
right,
It's just not.
right. Yeah, 95% of communication is nonverbal. Jennifer says, I get that. How do we work together? I've been thinking of creating. Yeah, no, I mean, this is probably going to be one of your most used videos because that's what people are looking for in an introductory call. Really, it's like, who are you? What do you do? How do you work with clients? Does it solve my problem? Right. But these types of videos are win-wins because you're happy because as a business owner, it didn't take you that long, right? To just copy and paste a link, but also the client is super happy, right? Because here's a fun fact for you. Visuals can actually accelerate comprehension by 400%. Right. And so seeing a visual, some of the things that we do for clients can be complex, right? And so providing them visual aids is really just going to help them understand. And we all know confused minds don't buy, right? So the clearer that we can get with our clients, the better, right? So it's just a win-win. Okay, so point number 3, craft your package, right? In my opinion, YouTube is more of a packaging platform than a video platform, meaning there is a heavy emphasis on the title and thumbnail. And so what do I mean by this? This is the, on the left-hand side, that's the picture, the thumbnail. And then on the right-hand side, you can see here's the title. And so when you type something into YouTube, there's just going to be a list of these, right? That come up. And these are really the two things these are the two things that people will either click on your video or not click, right? And so it's like the 80-20 principle, right? This is like the 20% that drives 80% of the results. And here's where a lot of business owners gets wrong is they focus so much on the meat, the content of the video that they totally forget how do I make the title and the thumbnail interesting, right? And so I've got an example here from Ellen is that a lot of people do this like on the left-hand side, right? Like they just write in block letters the same as the title, they put the same text in the thumbnail versus thinking, okay, how can I make this a little bit more enticing, right? So you see here that the video topic is what can I buy with a special needs trust? It looks like you can buy a house, but maybe not cash. And then, it's kind of tell me more, right? And you might be saying, okay, Sarah, there is no way, no how that I am going to be doing something like this on the right. And I completely understand. But you can actually find phenomenal video editors that can do something like this for $20 or $30 a pop, right? And you can really just use that as an outsourced solution so that your videos can have a really good package and people just have a reason to click, right? Okay. Number 4, engage consistently, right? So you have to continue to post videos, right? And 99% of people just give up prematurely. And so ultimately, you have to be willing to do what 99% of the people won't do. And I know you're willing because of how long you have been in business, right? Like you have persevered through some things, right? And so consistency is key here, just like with anything. And I love this quote by Tony Robbins. It's not about what we do once in a while that shapes our lives, but it's actually what we do consistently, right? And so in my experience, imperfect, consistent videos is actually going to drive more results for your business than these perfect inconsistent videos, right? And a lot of people, what they want to do is they'll hire a videographer, and maybe you've done that for your business, a videographer, they've got the teleprompter, the multi-camera setup, and the videos are like look amazing. But the problem is for most businesses, and I think for most of the businesses on this call, is that level of production is not sustainable, right? And sustainability is key. And so when we talk about sustainability, we have to talk about equipment for a second. And my hot take on equipment is the simpler, the better, right? And so for a lot of you, it's getting a really simple setup at your computer. And I'm actually excited that I'm modeling this here. I'm actually talking into my iPhone. You can use your iPhone as a phenomenal webcam. So I have it plugged into my computer. There's a little like $20 clip. And then this mic plugs directly into my computer. And so here I am, like just ready to record at any time. I can take a Zoom call like this, but I can also record content like this, right? And so when you create just a very simple setup, it really lowers the barrier to entry, right? You can just press record and get going. You really want to remove friction as much as possible. And a lot of people get tied up with equipment. I say like your iPhone is a phenomenal place to start. The biggest thing I will stress with equipment is that you really do want to have an external microphone source. So I have a mic here. This one's a little, I think this one's $200, but they have mics that are $60 that can plug directly into your computer and you can hear great audio. Typically a little, like the video quality can be negligible if it's a little fuzzy, but if you can't hear, that's a non-starter. So audio is really, really important. And again, I'm just a fan. Yes, Leah.
So I think I just want to take a moment of pause here for a second. And just from my own personal experience, and when I also work with clients and I suggest video, there's this big spike of anxiety. And this becomes like a really high speed bump. And there's this internal dialogue that just begins with, I don't know how to do this, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of feel compelled to go back to something you said is just do it. Imperfect video is a good start. You're doing what 99% of the people won't do, right? But can we talk about this moment just for a second about
Totally.
We're such awesome, experienced people, and yet we feel undone and humiliated by a camera or a microphone, right?
Yes. Leah, I really appreciate you teeing up the next slide because literally, what if I hate the way that I look? Right? Or what if it's just dysregulating, right? I think I too, like this is so natural because we all want to appear in our best light, right? And what I have found actually with most of my clients is that the authentic you is really what is going to connect you to people. And Ellen is actually going to talk a little bit about this too, because Leah, it's a great point, and I'm going to touch on this now.
One of the challenges of being on video is I think we're all kind of insecure about how we look. And I am too. I could tell you all the blemishes that you may notice or you may not, but I do. And I've kind of had to just overcome that and say, all right, well, I look how I do. I'm not a professional model. I don't look awful. I'm somewhere in between, you know. I do put on some makeup, which I usually don't put on this much makeup, and it's not a lot, right? But I think people who are watching it are not watching to see how do I look. They're watching for the content. And if I look normal, then that's even more encouraging to them because then they think, oh, I can do this too. I've gotten so much amazing feedback from the videos, from people, whether they're coming in or not, but they're telling their friends. I'm also hearing from different professionals who want me to speak at different organizations. I just got asked actually to be interviewed on, for a TV clip. So it's really exciting how this is taking off.
Yeah. So that was such a good timing, Leah, your question. And that's like a partial answer, right? Part of it is the aesthetics. But bottom line, I mean, what Alan's talking about is you looking normal is actually really encouraging to your clients, right? It's like, cool, they're normal, right? And then I think also what can really help with just getting more comfortable around video, just like with everything else in life, is just repetition. I think a lot of this is another misnomer online that can come up with, people can conflate doing video with a personality, right? It's just you either got it or you don't. You have that talent or you don't. And in my experience, it's really just about developing a skill set. Creating videos is a skill set that takes time. And Ellen is able to do this because she's created over 100 videos, right? And I can tell you that her 100th video is stronger than her first video, right? And she will tell you that, but she kept at it. So it's a really, really good point, Leah. And I would love to have more of a discussion about that. Okay. So the last and final tip is to really share your videos over email. We talked about this a little bit, but most of you are working with clients right now, right? And so instead of just emailing them, direct them to your library of FAQ, frequently asked question content, right? Those videos are going to help solve their problem. Don't tell them, okay, just go to my channel. Give them the specific video that they need help with, right? And all you need to do is really paste the links of those YouTube videos into your email, right? So for example, Ellen talked about, this is a great follow-up system for clients. Like, even I know a lot of people were saying on the chat, like, how do you work with clients? You could have that meeting, you could send that video before, but you can also send it as a recap after. Hey, it was great talking to you. Here are a few things that we discussed. I just wanted to provide you that resource so you understand how I work with people, because maybe they have to talk to their partner, or maybe they've got to talk, and then they can use that as a resource, and then you don't have to get on another call, right? So again, like, you can really use these videos to your advantage and like as a leveraging opportunity here. So here is the framework. It's really pinpoint your ideal client, answer your ideal client's questions, really craft your package. This is where we're thinking about the title, the thumbnail, really engaging consistently. And then also share your videos over email or over text, however you interface with clients. So, at this point, I'm going to just start taking some questions, if there are any, and then I can get into the special exclusive offer for this webinar. But yeah, Leah, do you have any questions?
Yes, there's one that came up that I thought would be good to bring forward now. Is Gina asked, can you explain what you mean by your phone is connected to your computer?
Yeah. Great, Gina. Thank you. That is a phenomenal question. So there's basically, and I think Eli dropped this in the chat, there's basically a cable that you can, it depends on, Gina, what's your setup actually? Can you drop that in the chat? Do you have a Mac? Do you have a PC? I'm curious.
And feel free to come off mute, and just
Yeah. Because if you have an iPhone to a Mac computer, there's a function called continuity camera. I have a PC with a basic webcam and a microphone. Okay, awesome. Yeah, there are clips that you can buy on Amazon. Do you have a iPhone, Gina, or do you have an Android device? At any rate,
she was
yes.
really curious about the phone to the computer versus
yes, the iPhone. Yeah, totally. I was just curious because my answer would have been different for an Android. But yeah, you can basically plug your iPhone into your computer, and on certain softwares like Riverside, it will actually recognize your iPhone. So you can really just use that as an external webcam. Curious to know about Android phones to Mac laptop. Yeah, the setup is actually similar for a Mac, and you can just type it in on YouTube. But it's basically, you just need the right cord to make sure it goes from your your Android or whatever phone device you have into your computer. A phenomenal software that I like to recommend for recording is Riverside. Actually, over Zoom, the quality is better, and they can pick up different devices. Cool. Okay, awesome. Okay, next question. Where do you save these videos? Seems like a lot of storage is used. Oh, great. Another great question. So I recommend saving these videos to YouTube, and it's unlimited storage, basically, when you put it in on the YouTube platform until uploaded. Oh, yeah. It really just depends on what you want to use. She's asking, okay, so I understand that the final product will go on YouTube. My clients have done different things like Google is an option, Google Drive. I also use a software called frame.io. That's a repository for video information, or an external hard drive. Yeah, that Leah's, that's a really good point. That's the cheapest option, honestly, is an external hard drive. They run you about $100, and yeah, you can save a ton of content. Yeah. Okay, Rick says, with 100 videos, does Ellen offer viewers the ability to sort her videos or content by keyword? Like, Rick, I'd love to hear you. Is it like they can specifically search her channel?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just a basic YouTube question, but I was thinking in terms of, people are going to come in with a very specific question,
Right.
and they could either just go through her videos sequentially or, by history, or they could say, I want to know this, which video pops up for me to learn that information.
Yeah, so that's a great question, Rick. So to answer your question, there is a function on YouTube where if you go to the channel, there's a way that you can like search particularly, like specifically in that channel. Typically with client work, most of the time her and her staff is emailing them direct links for really what they're looking for. Also, another thing to consider with YouTube is that you have the ability to create playlists, right? And playlists are really important because it's like you can basically organize, like think of a Netflix playlist, right? It's episode 1, 2, 3. And so you can start to think about, okay, like if you're just getting started, start here type of thing, right? And then you have video 1 and then video 2 and then video 3. So that's another way to kind of organize that content. But yeah, to answer your question, it is possible to specifically search. And then the more people watch those videos, the more YouTube is actually going to surface that as a suggested video. So that's going to basically what I mean, even if they just type in the regular search bar, her videos are going to go above other people just because it's clear that they like Ellen's content. So great question.
So Bridget and Jennifer both have more questions.
Oh,
Bridget?
yes. I love all these questions. Do you need a microphone or is just using the phone microphone good enough? I would definitely recommend a microphone. The problem, the phone microphone, if this is going to be a barrier to you, then go with the phone microphone. The challenge with using just the iPhone as the microphone is that there's a lot of echo that can come in the room. So you really want a mic that's like very close to your mouth. Like if you see right here, I mean, you kind of do like a hang loose sign and that's ideally how far, that's the tip for the day. That's ideally how far you want the mic from your mouth to really just produce like the richest sound possible. But if that is all you have, then that's totally fine. Another option is you can use your AirPods. But again, I really am a proponent for using the iPhone and they have great mics that can plug directly into your phone. So you don't need to have like a special interface if you just want to record on your phone. So yeah, it's a really, really good question. I would say it's a really good $50 spend, $50, $60 spend. Is it better?
We have a question about backgrounds here.
Yeah. So this is like basically a know thyself question. In my opinion, I think real backgrounds look more authentic than virtual backgrounds, right? And so it's just, again, you have to think about, okay, who's my ideal client? What do they think about? And backgrounds can be really simple, right? I think the biggest thing that people get messed up on with backgrounds is that they just look cluttered, right? So if you literally just have things put away, it can be a plant. It doesn't even need to be a plant, a bookshelf, like just really basic stuff. Think minimalist for your background as much as possible. But yeah, in my opinion, I just prefer the authentic backgrounds over a virtual background. Yeah. Okay. These are great questions. Are there any more questions?
I'll just invite everyone to simply come off mute or just chat stuff. We will keep monitoring, but I did have a few. One, you mentioned the word hook when you talked about putting your package together. Mm-hmm. So there was the title, there was the thumbnail, and then hook. And for sort of the uninitiated, do you mind defining that?
Totally. I'm just going to answer Gina's question real quick. AirPods are okay. An external microphone would be better. to answer your question. So if you can afford to spend the $60 on an external microphone, I would do that. Absolutely. But an AirPod will work. Will work in a pinch. Okay. So Leah asked a really good question, the hook. Okay. So when I talk about the hook, it's the first 30 to 60 seconds of the video, right? And a lot of people make the mistake of using that space. That first 30 seconds is like the most important part of the video, right? They use that to introduce themselves and to talk about their business, right? And it's a myth. It's natural. It's so natural. When you think about meeting somebody, it's like, hi, my name is Sarah. Here's the thing about video though. People don't care about your name. Your name is more about you than it's about them, right? And so you really have to, within the first 30 to 60 seconds, like answer their question. So for example, one of Ellen's first videos, how to set up an estate plan in California. I forgot what the hook was, but it was probably something like, in today's video, we're really going to dive into how to create a special needs estate plan here in the state of California. I'm going to go over my 5-step framework for you to really have a fully created estate plan, right? And then she's going to go into, hi, my name is Ellen Cookman. I'm a certified estate planner here in California, right? So that first part really answers because people are just clicking and they're like, okay, is this video going to answer my question? Basically, that's what they're trying to understand. And that's where you get people that bounce and click off your video. So what you would be really wise to do is think about, okay, how can I really think about with the hook 2 things, like what are the questions that they have? And then how can I lay out a container, a structure for the video that I can then deliver on, right? So notice in that one, I talked about my 5, like even in this presentation, it's like a 5-step framework, right? For your video, it might be the pros and cons with certain decisions. That way you share it in the hook and then that is the structure of your video. But people, again, like people aren't going to stay on unless they really understand, is this video relevant for me? And your name is just not relevant for them initially, right?
That's kind of a hilarious thing there.
I know.
We have another, you have the best question.
Kind of brutal. Oh yeah, brutal. Bridget, thank you.
How long should the videos be?
Yeah. This is a really, really great question. Bridget, I'm curious what you do. I'm really curious. I have a general answer. In a world
Rachel is one of our estate planning attorney clients. Just
awesome. Okay, well, welcome. Yeah, I would really say I'm a fan of longer form content. Like I really would love 8 to 10 minutes of a video. Now, the reason that I say that is because earlier in the presentation, I was talking about vanity metrics, right? And vanity metrics being views and subscribers. A really, really important metric and the king of metrics when it comes to YouTube, in my opinion, is really your retention. So if you have a video that somebody watches 50% of, it's really your retention and your watch time, right? So if you have a video that somebody watches like 50% of or more, that is a phenomenal retention rate, right? And if your video is 10 minutes and they watch 50% of it, that's 5 minutes that you've added to your watch time versus these videos that are like 90 seconds, right? Also, the people that I work with really are focused on creating a relationship, a long-term relationship with their clients. And so that just takes time, right? And what I found is that Google actually has a framework, 7-11-4, for acquiring customers, right? But the 7 is 7 hours of content, really. And it can be, in a relation, like you're talking to somebody on a podcast, but the longer that your videos are, the more you're able to really like build that trust because you're spending more time with people. So that was a long-winded answer. But yeah, I would say about 8 to 10 minutes. If it's relevant, you can't just go on and not talk about, things that are relevant. But I would say go longer. Most people are just so focused on, I got to be quick. And if you're a subject matter expert, like I would really try to go longer if you can. These are really good questions. Okay. Are there any additional questions? Leah said, can you spend a few seconds addressing editing and software? And what about the comments? Social media is notorious for unfit. Yeah, no, totally. And actually, Leah, that I would say those types of comments are a sign of notoriety, right? I would say that those are typically a good sign, that people are certainly speaking their mind, but this is just going to come with when you post what you think online, right? And so my biggest recommendation when you're coming against some of those comments is to not engage. Not engage. Only engage the positive ones, but people and you can actually report to YouTube if someone is spamming your content or if it's just inappropriate. You can absolutely do that.
It sounds to me that very much like you should have a strategy or a framework on connecting with people on LinkedIn, or how you engage leads and bring them through the process to a closed sale. You should have an approach to in a point of view about how to handle comments.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I would say that typically comes later on in the YouTube journey when people start to really, when you get more views, when people start to engage more with your content. But what I tell my clients to do is just pick one day to just go through all of your comments and, appreciate, you watching the video. I respond certainly to the positive ones. Sometimes people have very specific questions that you cannot answer on YouTube. And so in that case, you're just telling people, okay, please give my office a call, type of a thing. But that I recommend just doing it once a week. And not engaging in negative comment, potentially reporting to YouTube if necessary. But, definitely in that time, really responding to all the comments that you can. Yeah, totally. Okay. Are there any other questions? I did want to share if anybody is interested on this call, a special offer that I created for this webinar.
I think that would be great, Sarah. I just want to remind everyone, Sarah's available to take questions outside of this.
Yeah.
And if you want to connect with her on LinkedIn or subscribe to her YouTube channel or anything like that, she's very, very available. So Sarah, tell us about the cool offer.
Yeah, totally. Okay, let me see. Here we go. Okay. So, so some of you might be feeling excited right now, but some of you might be feeling just like overwhelmed with all the tech and all the things. And so really this offer is about stop repeating yourself in a 45-day system, right? You'll be able to reduce the amount of time you are repeating yourself to clients, spend more time in your zone of genius doing the work only you can do, and really turn strangers into fans, right? Having your first meeting with a client feel like the second. And this system, like I talked about, has taken me years to develop, lots of trial and error, tens of thousands of dollars spent, really with editing and equipment and all of those things. And so really with this system, there's going to be confidence that you'll be implementing the right strategies the first time versus the expensive trial and error process that can ensue, right? So again, this entire program system was born from clients who want the benefits of video, but really need to keep things simple. So let's dive into the system. Okay. So first part, and this is valued at $497, is we ship you a ready to use recording kit tailored to your office, right? So we really understand what type of what type of setup you have. And so we just take the tech headache and confusion out of it for you. The second thing is you get a one-on-one scripting session with me and actually my copywriter, so you feel confident knowing what you're going to say on camera. This is a $997 value, and it really helps so that when it comes to creating video, you know exactly what you're going to say and when you're going to say it. So the third part of this system is we remotely guide you as a team to handle your setup and your camera settings so you look your absolute best, right? we're really there to handhold you through the whole experience. We're on there as you're recording to make it as simple as possible for you. So that's valued at $14.97. And then finally, you will at the end receive 3 professionally edited videos plus 2 LinkedIn ready clips. And that whole package is going to be valued at close to $5,000. And I am not going to be charging close to $5,000. And I've actually dropped the price just for 3 people on this webinar to $14.97 for this entire offer. And as a bonus, as a special bonus, we will upload all of the videos that we create to a YouTube channel that we can create on your behalf if you don't already have one. And so all you have to do is really just share your links with the clients. So this is a special bonus. And like I said, if you are interested in this, please, I'm going to drop a link in the chat to book a time with me. I have my calendar open for this offer for the next 2 weeks. I really did want to make sure that I provided Eli's audience with something that's of value, and Eli is actually going to be taking me up on this offer. So you'll be seeing some videos from him in the near future. But yeah, I would love to book a time to chat with you. So I'm going to drop that in the chat right now.
Okay, I don't know Sarah. This is the first time I've met her, but I've been a chief marketing officer and I've done marketing stuff for a long time, and I've hired and fired agencies and clients a lot. That's a wonderful deal.
Yes.
For
That is
someone who
outstanding.
understands professional services, that doesn't want to make you into the next Instagram, influencer king or queen or whoever, who really get what this is supposed to achieve for your business. That's an incredible value. Wow. Sarah, we have to leave it right there. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending. Eli, last words for today.
This was so informative, and I understood the power of video, but I think it took just seeing what Sarah has done for Ellen to realize that I need some accountability, I need some support to have that consistency. I make videos, but they're very sporadic. So I think this is a great offer. I think we've all learned a lot about how to leverage video. And what I did actually also is start using Fathom, as I put in the chat before, to mine all of our sales calls to get those top 3 questions that I will use to inspire my videos. So this has been a wonderful presentation. Next month, we have Sarah Tetlow, who will be talking about how to organize your inbox. She has a specific system she calls the ART system of how to archive, I believe, retrieve, triage, and we will be sharing that goodness to help you become more productive. The inbox is one of the places where I think all of us suffer the most in terms of building a scalable, repeatable system to efficiently, find and also to respond quickly to those emails that matter the most. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Leah, for moderating. Thank you, Sarah, for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
We'll keep doing these every month, and then as we grow, we might even get to a, 2 in a month sequence. So Jennifer will be with us. She's on the call here. She'll be helping us how to organize documents and appraise all of our valuables for those who have a lot of things that they need to account for when creating estate plans. So we are very excited to share amazing advisors who will help all of us get the most out of our lives. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for watching the Best Notary Speaker Series. Come join us on Zoom every Wednesday of the month at noon Pacific and 3 p.m. Eastern. Join us on June 4th for our next event, Mastering Your Inbox with Art, with highly acclaimed productivity expert Sarah Tetlow. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get notified when new episodes are released. This speaker series is sponsored by The Best Notary, your trusted document concierge from Maui to Maine.